Episode 4, The Matchmaking Duo. Ex-boyfriends populate the entertainment industry. The next morning, Ningxi was awakened by a deep voice in the living room. Hearing footsteps behind her, Lu Tingxiao put down his phone and spoke gently, "Did I wake you?" Ningxi stared at the man in front of her, her eyes widening like bells. Lu Tingxiao hadn't put on any clothes yet, and when he opened the door, it revealed a sight that was quite impactful. She touched her nose, thankful that she hadn't embarrassed herself. Lu Tingxiao seemed not to notice her odd expression as he calmly picked up his shirt from the sofa and started buttoning it. He said, "There's an urgent matter at the company, and I have to leave. Can you please wake up Little Bun?" "Of course." Ningxi nodded and quickly went to wake up Little Bun. However, before she could go call him, she turned around and saw a soft and adorable Pikachu standing at the bedroom door, staring at his father, Lu Tingxiao, with an annoyed expression, blinking his eyes. "Little Bun, go change your clothes," Lu Tingxiao ordered as he put on his jacket. The response he got was the sound of the bedroom door slamming shut. Little Bun was utterly ruthless. Lu Tingxiao said. Ningxi said. Lu Tingxiao attempted to turn the doorknob, but the door had been locked from the inside. He then looked at Ningxi and said in a cold tone, "Do you have the key?" Ningxi awkwardly shook her head. "I do have a key, but it's inside the room." Lu Tingxiao furrowed his brows and said with a stern expression, "I'll give you 3 minutes. If you don't come out, don't bother coming here anymore." 3 minutes passed, and there was still no sound from inside. "Come out. If I have to force you out, I won't be as easygoing," Lu Tingxiao threatened. Still, there was no response. The little guy didn't give his father any face. Ningxi, who was standing by, couldn't help but feel like laughing but dared not laugh. "I have work to do later. You could let Little Bun stay here to play for a while." Lu Tingxiao's face darkened, and he took out his phone to make a call. Ningxi glanced at his actions and was a bit speechless. Did he have to call a psychologist for such a small matter? Wasn't this making a mountain out of a molehill? She cleared her throat and suggested, "How about I give it a try?" Lu Tingxiao hesitated for a moment and then nodded. Ningxi leaned against the door and used a soothing tone, "Little Bun, Auntie has to go to work later, and I won't be able to take care of you. How about you go home with your dad for now?" There was still no response from inside. "Or, we can exchange phone numbers and stay in touch at any time. We can even do video calls." Inside, there seemed to be hesitant footsteps. "Auntie's boss is very strict, and if I'm late, he'll scold me. My boss is really mean, you know." With a soft click, the door opened. Lu Tingxiao, who had been prepared for a protracted battle, was surprised for a moment and then looked at the woman beside him with a complex gaze. She had managed to get Little Bun to come out with just 3 sentences. He didn't know that when Little Bun locked himself in the attic outside the balcony like this, the whole family had tried everything, including the butler, the maids, a psychologist, and even negotiation experts. They had talked for an entire afternoon, to no avail, and they had ended up having to break the door. As a result, the little guy had completely ignored them for a whole month. Of course, Ningxi was unaware of this. She just thought that the child was very obedient. She praised Little Bun, who looked low-spirited yet didn't want to be scolded. "Little Bun is so well-behaved." "Thank you, sweetheart." The child who had been praised handed her a piece of paper with a series of numbers written on it. Ningxi took the paper. "Oh, is this your phone number? Alright, I'll save it. I'll give you a call when I'm done with work." Lu Tingxiao found it strange. Little Bun didn't have a phone, so where did the phone number come from? He took advantage of his height to look at the number and realized it was his own. Indeed, he was his biological son. In the Starlight Entertainment office, Changli was frustrated as she spoke. Ningxi auditioned for the role of the second female lead. The second female lead? Ningxuelua furrowed her brows upon hearing this. Wasn't she just playing supporting roles in some random dramas on other sets? How could she have time to audition for the second female lead? Changli continued, "I was surprised too. It turns out that during the audition for the female lead yesterday, after the judges had finished, they unexpectedly noticed Ningxi. They thought she would be perfect for the role of the second female lead, so they cast her on the spot. That's why you're so wary of her. Ningxi is quite cunning. Even after the auditions were over, she hung around the judges. I don't know what she was trying to do." Changli didn't dare to say everything she knew. Ningxi's looks were her biggest asset, and it wasn't surprising that the judges had their eyes on her. Back when Changli had signed Ningxi, she had intended to groom her. However, suddenly, Ning Xuelua had joined the company. Ning Xuelua was a well-established actress with strong connections, while Ning Shi was a newcomer without much influence. In the entertainment industry, it was clear who should be given more opportunities. Ning Xuelua's expression darkened, and she said, even though it's not the leading role, this is a major production. It was evident that she didn't want Ning Shi to get that role. Changli looked troubled and said, this situation is quite tricky. The company has invested a lot in this drama, and the fact that both the female lead and the second female lead are from our company pleased the boss. If we had someone better suited than Ning Shi to replace her, it wouldn't be an issue. Unfortunately, the auditions for this role were disastrous, and there's no reasonable excuse to replace her. Ning Xuelua seemed to realize something and suddenly calmed down. She toyed with her finely manicured nails and sneered, never mind. If she's so eager to play the role of a seductress, then let her have it. The villainous beauty role suits her quite well. Ning Shi soon received a call from Changli, informing her that she had been confirmed for the role of the second female lead in the drama Tianxia, and that she should prepare for it. In Tianxia, the female lead was portrayed as wise, just, brave, and instrumental in helping the male lead ascend to the throne. The second female lead, on the other hand, was depicted as manipulative, cunning, and despised by others. She ultimately met a tragic end by falling off a cliff, which was quite satisfying for the audience. With this character set up, it was no wonder that Ning Xuelua didn't make a fuss this time. Even though she had secured the role of the second female lead in Tianxia, Ning Shi still had work to do. She had another set to visit today, where she played a role as a homewrecker who tried to steal someone else's husband. She had only 5 minutes of screen time left, but in the scorching sun, she had to be surrounded by a group of extras who were inexperienced, and the scenes took 2 hours to complete. She had to be slapped and pushed around repeatedly. After returning home, she collapsed on the sofa, utterly exhausted. After lying down for a while, she suddenly felt like she had forgotten something. As she watched the news on TV, a familiar figure appeared on the screen. With his remarkable good looks, broad shoulders, slim waist, and long legs, and his aloof charm like he was at an altitude of 8,000 meters. Who else could it be but Little Bun's father, Lu Tingxiao? Lu Tingxiao was at a signing ceremony, shaking hands with several foreigners. The host's voice was full of excitement as he introduced the collaboration between Lu Corporation and the Italian brand DR to enter the European market, which was expected to double the company's market value. As she watched, Ning Shi finally remembered that she had forgotten to call Little Bun. At Platinum Palace, the 2 elders of the Lu family had returned from abroad, and the family of 5 was having dinner together. After 3 years of negotiation, Lu Corporation had finally secured a major contract. Grandpa Lu was very happy and praised Lu Tingxiao highly for his achievements. Even Lu Jingli gave him a few words of praise. However, when it came to the main point, they emphasized that while work was important, their precious grandson was even more important. Grandpa Lu said, Tingxiao, work is important, but you can't neglect Little Bun. Now that you're done with your busy work, you should spend more time with him. Grandma Lu added, if you really don't have time, you should find someone to take care of him. Little Bun is growing up, and you should start considering your personal life too. Grandpa Lu agreed, your mother is right. Lu Jingli slyly gestured to his elder brother, indicating that their parents were doing a double act again. Lu Tingxiao focused on his food, remaining silent. Little Bun sat there, holding his phone, motionless. Grandma Lu, seeing the father and son duo, felt her heart aching. Tingxiao, have you been listening to what I said? And what's wrong with Little Bun? He hasn't had a single bite of food all night and has been holding on to his phone like it's a treasure. Lu Jingli, chewing on sweet and sour spare ribs, mumbled, Little Bun is waiting for the beautiful aunt to call him. Grandma Lu was puzzled, what beautiful aunt are you talking about? Lu Jingli waved his hand, oh, Mom and Dad, don't worry so much. My brother already has someone he likes. Lu Grandma was in disbelief, is everything you're saying true? Second child, you'd better not be fooling us. At this point, even Grandpa Lu set down his chopsticks with a serious expression and looked at Lu Jingli. Why would I lie to you? This is a genuine matter. If you don't believe me, you can ask my brother. Lu Jingli said as he looked at his elder brother. Is what Jingli said true, Tingxiao? Grandpa Lu asked solemnly. Tingxiao, can't you speak a little more? Grandma Lu urged impatiently. Lu Tingxiao finally spoke, yes. Lu grandma was nearly at her wit's end, but when she finally heard the word yes, she couldn't hold back her temper anymore. You, my child, can't you say more than one word? Why is it so difficult to have a conversation with you? Lu Tingxiao replied, it's true. Lu's elderly couple. Well, he only said one more word. But Grandma Lu was still worried, and with a hesitant look, she asked, Tingxiao, the person you like, is it a girl or a boy? Lu Tingxiao's face darkened, and he practically gritted his teeth as he said 3 words, it's a girl. Lu Jingli burst into laughter and almost fell off his chair. Of course, it's a girl, and a very beautiful girl at that. Little Bun also really likes her, and he's waiting for her call. Grandma Lu was overjoyed, bless our ancestors. Tingxiao, who is the young lady? How old is she? Where is she from? What does she do? Who's in her family? Why didn't you tell us anything? Lu Jingli quickly interrupted, Mom, calm down. It's just the beginning, and we didn't tell you because we were afraid you'd meddle and spoil things. If they found out about Ningxi's identity and her not-so-great reputation in the entertainment industry, things might turn out badly. At this point, Grandpa Lu also spoke, Tingxiao wouldn't choose someone wrong. Don't worry too much. What do you mean by me worrying too much? Don't you worry? Who's the one who's up late every night on the balcony, unable to sleep, and smoking? Grandma Lu pierced through her husband without holding back. But hearing her husband's words, she felt more at ease. Tingxiao has a keen eye. He wouldn't choose someone inferior. What's most precious is that Little Bun also likes her. As soon as she finished speaking, Little Bun's phone suddenly rang. It was Lu Tingxiao's private number, known to very few people. Lu Jingli took a look and confirmed that it was Ningxi's number. Is it the girl who called? Grandma Lu asked excitedly, as if she was about to meet her daughter-in-law. Lu Jingli nodded repeatedly, then answered the phone for Little Bun. Little Bun wasn't very good with phones. Although Lu Tingxiao had bought him one before, he didn't like using it, so he didn't know where he had placed it. At that moment, everyone's attention was focused on Little Bun's phone. Lu Jingli, with the thickest skin, directly leaned in to eavesdrop on the conversation. Ningxi debated for a while on whether to make the call but decided to go ahead. Due to an incident 5 years ago, she wasn't particularly fond of children and even had a slight aversion to being around them. They reminded her of some unpleasant memories, the loss of her own child. That child had carried her dearest hopes but also symbolized her darkest past. For some reason, Little Bun didn't make her uncomfortable at all. Instead, he made her genuinely like him and even made her want to get closer to him. It was strange. Hello? Hello? The phone was answered but there was no response. Ningxi knew it had to be Little Bun, so she chuckled softly, is this Little Bun? I'm sorry, Auntie just finished work and only remembered to call you now. Little Bun couldn't speak, so he couldn't respond. Ningxi had to talk to herself, finding things to say. Sweetie, have you eaten yet? You're too thin, you must eat more, okay? Children shouldn't be picky eaters. This way, you'll grow up quickly, and chubby children are so cute. Although you're already very cute. Oh, by the way, I just saw your daddy on TV. He's done a big business deal. He's amazing. Please congratulate him for me. 10 minutes later, Little Bun put down the phone and took out a writing board he hadn't used in a long time. He carefully wrote down, congratulations. Little Bun might not be able to speak, but he was excellent in both Chinese and English. He found writing Chinese characters troublesome, so most of the time he wrote in English. But he hadn't written anything in a very long time. It was because he had no desire to express himself. The 2 elders were left completely stunned. Lu Jingli was relatively calm because he had seen this before. Lu Tingxiao had overheard Ningxi's words on the phone earlier, and as he looked at the word, a rare smile crept onto his icy face. He touched his son's small head and said, thank you. After writing, Little Bun didn't say a word. Instead, he began to eat, with an extremely serious expression. Even more surprised were the 2 elders. At first, it seemed like their eldest son had smiled, and their precious grandson had voluntarily written something. And not only that, but he had even eaten the carrots he detested. Lu Grandma finally came to her senses and couldn't wait to ask, Jingli, what did the girl say to Little Bun on the phone? Grandpa Lu was also full of curiosity. Lu Jingli, who was the center of attention, casually replied, she didn't say much, just told Little Bun to eat more and not be picky with his food. She also asked Little Bun to congratulate her with me. Grandma Lu was incredulous, just that? Lu Jingli shrugged, what else could she say? Grandpa Lu's face was exceptionally pleased. A single phone call from this girl achieved more than a year of work from Little Bun's psychologist. Indeed. Grandma Lu was both surprised and pleased. This girl is really good. Tingxiao, you must seize this opportunity. Lu Tingxiao nodded. Grandma Lu cast a disdainful look at her eldest son, then turned to her younger son. Second child, your brother is a blockhead. How would he know how to court a girl? You must help him, you know? Now you see how useful I am. Lu Jingli smirked, don't worry, I'll use my life's greatest skills to help my brother. But we have 3 rules, neither of you is allowed to interfere. You should know that at this stage, parents' interference can easily ruin things. The 2 elders naturally nodded in agreement, we understand. We won't interfere. After dinner, as soon as the 2 elders left, Lu Jingli immediately approached his brother, wagging his tail, to share his victory. Bro, was I amazing just now? His tail was halfway through its wagging motion when a small object whooshed from his brother's hand and was thrown toward him. Lu Jingli raised his hand to catch it, and his eyes went wide when he saw what it was. It was a car key. For that car he had been eyeing for a long time, the one and only Bugatti Centenaire edition in the world. Oh, my dear little treasure. Lu Jingli kissed the car key wildly. I love you, bro. His brother hadn't given it to him no matter how much he had pestered him before, but he got it after just a few words in front of their parents. It seemed that in his brother's heart, Ningxi had an even higher status than he had imagined. Lu Jingli grew more anxious as he thought about it. Are you sure it's Ningxi? And she's not just playing around, she wants to get married? Married, Lu Tingxiao's tone left no room for any other possibility. Lu Jingli sighed, speaking with the weight of someone who had been through the ringer. Then I have to warn you to be prepared. Chasing a girl is like playing a game, with different difficulty levels, easy mode, normal mode, hard mode, and hell mode. And Ningxi? She's definitely on hell mode. Every woman has her weak points, but as for Ningxi, when you look at how many men she dumped when she was abroad, and all of them were in the entertainment industry with unusual backgrounds, I was completely amazed when I saw the list of names. I've never been so impressed by anyone in this regard. As for using money, from what I can tell, she's not interested in sugar daddies or shady deals. Using emotions? Just look at how many men she broke up with when she was abroad. Her ex-boyfriends populate the entertainment industry, and one by one, they all have different backgrounds. If you're thinking of using a child, forget it. She's dedicated to her career and has no intention of having kids. In short, even if I, your dear brother, were to make a move, I'd still most likely get a game over. With your negative emotional intelligence, you're like a newbie sent to give away experience points. Lu Tingxiao looked at him coldly and said, 100%. Lu Jingli was speechless and twitched the corners of his mouth as he counted how many words his brother had just spoken. Alright, I'm 100% sure I'd get a game over. Don't mind these small details, okay? In conclusion, I'm willing to bet that Ningxi is a confirmed believer in not marrying or having children. Such people treat relationships lightly, valuing freedom above all else. If you just want to have fun, it's easy. But if you want to get married? It's extremely difficult. That's because you two haven't met the person who will make you want to enter into marriage and raise a family together. Moonlight poured in through the window, and the usually icy Lu Tingxiao appeared to have softened a little. As Lu Jingli counted how many words his brother had said, he looked at him incredulously. Wow, when in love, people are indeed different. Even an emotional idiot like me is getting a lesson from you. But you have a point too. So, what do you say? Do you need your dear, intelligent, and handsome little brother to help? Lu Tingxiao gave a 3-word response, not necessary. Lu Jingli was getting anxious. How could it not be necessary? Chasing women is different from doing business. Have you really thought it through? You really don't need a smart, wise, and handsome master of the art of seduction. Lu Jingli was energetically promoting himself when the study's door suddenly creaked open. Both of them turned to look. They saw little treasure, wearing pajamas, standing at the door. Lu Tingxiao's eyes showed a trace of surprise. Oh, little treasure. Lu Jingli was also surprised. At this time, little treasure actually appeared in a place other than his own bedroom?